Hi everyone, this is Ted Ladaris again, and I'm here to try out Databot on this new Tidy Tuesday dataset about African languages. So I'm going to try to do it in Python, even though Python is not my number one language for data exploration, but I thought it would be a curious experiment to try this out. So what I've done is I have copied the Tidy Tuesday code for the African languages. So it loads everything into a data set called Africa. And just to give you a quick preview, so there are four columns in this data set. So number one is the language, and then there is the language family, and then the number of native speakers and the number of countries, or the country that the language is spoken in. So one thing to note is that, like for the Afar language here, it's spoken in multiple countries, so there are multiple rows in there. So that's something we need to keep aware of as we start our exploration. So I'm going to load Databot. So this is either Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P, depending on whether you're on Windows or Mac. So that's going to open the command palette. And now I'm going to click Open Databot here. And 1 second. It looks like I need to restart Databot. 1 second. Okay. So sorry about that. I had to actually reopen the project for Databot to work again. That's kind of the first time I've encountered that. So let's think this through. One of the things we might want to do, okay, so I need to reload my Africa data set again. So one of the things we might want to do is kind of understand the distribution of languages among countries. So let's try that out. So create a count of languages by country. Grouping by, okay, let's think about this. Create a count of languages grouped by country. Let's see what Databot is going to do with my request. Okay, so we need to allow Databot to take a look at the data set. Okay, so interestingly, it's asking for polars. Why don't we try the analysis in pandas? I think we can. Okay. So this is basically, we're going to do a pandas analysis. So it is going to group by country, and then it's going to basically sort by language count. So let's try this out. Okay, so interestingly, we see that there are a number of different countries that have different languages. So the top is Cameroon, which has 96 languages. Congo is a follower up. So interesting. So there are a lot of things we can do kind of in this direction. Maybe we want to figure out in terms of family and the number of native speakers. So count the number of native speakers grouped by family. Okay, so here it's going to group by family. Interestingly, okay, so it's going to basically This is not exactly what I was thinking about, but it will do the job. So it's going to group by family the native speakers column, and then it's going to do a sum in each of those groups. So let's allow this. Okay, so we can see that Afro-Asiatic has the largest number of total speakers, and then the Niger-Congo language family has the next highest. So interesting. So let's just kind of think about what else we can do with this data set. Sometimes I actually go back to the original Tidy Tuesday. So which country in Africa has the largest number of spoken languages? So we've answered that question already. So which family of languages has the highest density of speakers? Looks like we've answered that one. So are there any languages that cut across multiple countries? Actually, let's try asking the inverse question. So are there any languages that are only spoken in one country? So let's go back. Any languages only spoken in one country? Okay, so we're going to do a similar group by, but we're going to do a number, like find the number unique. Okay, so let's allow this to run. So 347 languages are spoken in only one country, interestingly enough. So that's about 69%. So let's ask Databot to make a filter. Filter the Africa data set to these languages. Okay, so it basically created this single country languages. So this is basically, if we can't actually take a look at this, but this appears to be a series. And so it's going to basically find the ones where the count is 1. And then we will do, then we're going to filter the data set. So let's try this. So I want to take a look. So what was the name of that? So Africa, single country. So let's take a look at these languages. Okay, so there are a number of languages here. Interesting, as you might expect. So Amharic is an Ethiopian language, so that's a good thing to check. Just kind of using my limited knowledge of African languages. But interestingly, so, we know that Cameroon is like, basically there are a lot of different languages that are spoken here. Basically, but it's interestingly, some of these languages are only spoken in Cameroon. So very interested in that. So we could basically try to sort. So we can see that there are a number of languages in Burkina Faso. They're only spoken in Burkina Faso, etc. And these are the languages in Cameroon. So it's very interesting. I'm just curious about how many single languages are in Cameroon. How many of these languages are in Cameroon? Okay, let's try this out. So there are, if we remembered, there were basically 80 something. Let's go back and take a look. So there were 96 languages And of those 96 languages, 77 of them are only spoken in Cameroon. So that's very interesting. Let's try making a choropleth. So a choropleth, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but that's basically a map of regions, and then you color the regions according to some sort of quantity. So we want to see basically like a map of Africa where with these unique language counts. So make a choropleth of African countries colored by number of single languages. So this may be outside of Databot's purview, but let's take a look. Okay, so it's going to want to install Plotly. So it's going to do some other stuff. So it installed narwhals. Okay, so this is very much how you do it in Plotly. So what we're going to do, we're going to group by country, so single languages by country, and then we're going to plot that number as a choropleth. Okay, so let's just take a look. So location mode, country, so the locations are by country. So the color is by single language count. It's going to use Viridis. Okay, so let's try this out. That looks all right with me. Library used by the country name location mode option is changing in, well, okay. So that's a deprecation warning. So let's, okay, that's great. Oh, okay, here's the, no, come on, you can do it. Let's just make this a little bigger. It didn't seem to like being, okay. So very interestingly, Cameroon is not a huge country compared to a lot of these other countries like Algeria, Niger, but it does seem to be kind of centrally located in many ways. Interestingly, we don't have any counts in here. We don't have any counts over here. If I knew were more up on my geography, I would be able to tell you what countries those were exactly, but unfortunately I'm not. But this is an interesting thing to think about. So Cameroon, in many ways, is a very special country in that contains a number of very unique languages that are only spoken there. I'm going to basically stop at this point. Hopefully that was interesting for you. If there's any more interest in exploring this data set, let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to follow this up. Hi, just a quick follow-up. So I'm kind of silly. I know that this is Egypt. So I apologize that I'm not 100% up to African geography. This is just a larger zoom out opened in the web page. So you could, I'll have a link to this in the repository so you can explore it. Interesting, so Sudan also has a number of single country languages, but really, it really appears that Cameroon is the top of these like single country languages.